Welcome to my workshop. You are watching Casual DIY channel. Now, a couple of months ago, I was testing Atomstack A24 Pro. It's a solid machine, very compact, and more or less it comes assembled and it's fairly well priced. Now, just recently, Atomstack asked me if I wanted to try out and have a look at the enclosure they've got for this laser. The enclosure itself actually attaches to the frame of the laser. It has got a wide angle camera, it's got some LED lights and a fan extraction at the back, plus it's made out of material that will block the harmful rays of the laser itself, so it's a lot safer to use overall. So let's check it out. I'm gonna put it together and we'll test it out if it's really that good. So it came in this rather large box, so I'm gonna unpack everything and you'll see what you get in the package itself. Okay, check this out. That's all the pieces that we do get. As you can see, there's quite a lot of it and it's fairly substantial, and I have to say the quality of it, this is all metal, it's really nice and quite thick. So yeah, the quality seems to be very good. Right, let's put everything together. First of all, we need to sort out the wiring. Okay, you've got one white cable and one black one, so it will be a little bit easier to sort this out. What do you need to do? Put the frame on its side, and just over here on the motherboard you've got two connectors, okay, next to these cables. So first of all, we need to connect the black one. So you've got two connectors at one end, so that goes into the bottom one. The other part, it needs to go just through there, so you've got an opening here, so we need to take this wire through and just make sure it's not in the way of any of the pulleys or any of the moving parts. And in the same way we're going to install the other cable, the white cable. Now we need to take care of the other side, so I'm just going to flip this over. Both of these cables, they need to go behind the motor and into the opening that's just over here. So yeah, that could take you a few moments to do, but just take your time, be patient, and eventually you'll get there. Help yourself with a screwdriver or something just to get that port through that hole in the frame. Now you need to make sure that the wires don't get tangled in any moving parts, and you do get some cable management clips that you can install inside, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, the hardest part of this is now finished, and you should have two wires at each end. Now we're going to install the sides. On the front and the back on each side you've got some holes, and these will take these type of screws. They are M4 by 5. We've got 8 in total of them, and we're just going to install the panels. Easy like that. However, with the screws at the back, just leave a bit of slack before we're going to put the back panel on. Okay, now it's time to install the back. On the back you've got 3 screw holes, and that's the angle, the metal angle here that we need to attach it to. Super easy, everything fits lovely together. So let me just put the screws through. Now with the back installed, we can tighten the other screws from the sides that we've put in before. Okay, now we can connect all the wires on both sides. It's more or less the same thing. They're all color coded, so white goes to white, black goes to black, and just do that on both sides. Okay, now it's time to install the top. Again, super easy. You've got 3 screw holes on each side, so just drive in the screws and the top will be installed. And you've got 1 screw right in the middle here at the back. And now we can install the front. And check that out. Beautiful. Camera just over there. Really nice. Okay, let's carry on with the next step. Now on the right hand side at the back you do have this rubber plug. We need to get the cable that goes from the camera through that hole. Just like so. And then we need to install the plug back on. The plug itself actually comes apart, so you can put it back on that cable and put it back in place. And now let's focus at the back. Okay, you do get a power lead with a switch just over here that we need to install to the fan itself, so it does have power. And then the other part goes to the laser machine itself, and that goes to the power brick. On top of it, you do get the extraction hose that we need to install. First of all, we need to install this tape around the outlet. You do get this metal band that we need to put on as well. And now just tighten up the screw on the metal band. Check that out. That really does look very, very cool. You've got full visibility of what is happening inside, as the whole thing is transparent, but it's not flexing, it's not wobbly, it's really well made. The quality is here, and I really do like that the enclosure attaches to the base. You've got one unified unit over here. Opens really nicely with no issues at all. You've got full access, plenty of space. Really, really nice. I'm liking this. On top of it, it does have a safety feature. You've got some stops just over here, and you do have pins on the lid. So basically what that means, when the machine is operating and for whatever reason you decide to pop in and fix something or change something, if you take the lid up, the machine itself, the laser head itself will stop in a place. You can fix whatever you wanted, and the minute you're going to put that lid back on, the machine will resume from the spot it stopped. Absolutely great feature, and we'll check that out in a few minutes. First of all though, let's set up the camera in Lightburn. Alright, so the enclosure is now fully on, and did you hear that noise? So that's the alarm when you are lifting the lid up, so the machine lets you know that it's heading up. On top of it, you've got the LED lights on both sides. You can clearly see what's happening inside. Absolutely fantastic thing. But now we need to set up the camera itself, and to do that you will need Lightburn. Okay, Lightburn will utilize the feature of the camera for this enclosure. With the enclosure you also get this card with the dots, and that's what you're going to need to calibrate the camera itself. So I'm just going to whack this inside, more or less in the middle, and let's start. Okay, so we are in Lightburn. We've got the correct laser selected. Go to laser tools, then calibrate camera lens. Okay, select the one that you want, which is this one, and straight away you can see the live image from the inside. Fisheye lens, full calibration, press next. And on the top it shows you where you need to put the card with the dots, more or less. I think we're about right. So we're going to press capture, then we're going to press next. Okay, we need to move that card to this position, so I'm going to open the whole thing. I'm going to take it down, press capture again. As you can see, I can't press next because it didn't capture the photo correctly. I'm just going to move it slightly. Press capture again. Okay, there we go. We've got the photo there. Press next. Now to the left hand side. Now to the right hand side. And we're just gonna carry on with the instructions from Lightburn. And there you go, that's the lens calibration finished. But the next thing we need to do we need to go into laser tools and calibrate camera alignment. Okay, so we've got the top view, select this one, USB camera, as you can see, that's the live feed, press next. Okay, so what we need to do is to engrave these marks. Okay, so either you put in A4 paper or maybe some cardboard or MDF, plywood, whatever you've got. I've got 5 pieces of plywood I'm going to put inside right now, and then put some of the settings for your machine, so it's not going to cut through, it's just going to engrave. Obviously make sure that the focal point for your laser head is set up to the thickness of the material. So back in the software, the material in my case it's 6mm in thickness, speed 3000, yeah, we're going to go with that. Power 60, maybe we'll go for 50%, line 50%. I'm not going to use air assist because we're only engraving, and I'm just going to frame everything to make sure that I'm in the right position. Okay, so I've run frame, everything seems to be alright, so let's press start and the laser will engrave everything in. Okay, now we can press next, and then we're going to go to marker number 1 and go right in the middle here. Marker number 2, number 3, and number 4. Next, and we're more or less done. Now on the right hand side we've got the camera control, or if you can't find it, go to window and then turn on camera control there. So we're going to select our camera, update, there we go, and beautifully we can see what's inside of our laser. If we toggle fade, the overlay will disappear and we're just going to see what's exactly inside. And there we go, the camera is fully set up and we're ready to go. So what we can also do is to engrave something in. Let me just home the laser. We're going to engrave a rectangle, so we can basically dial in exactly where our laser will go. Let's start. And tell you what, it put that rectangle exactly where it was. Update overlay, you can see I've updated it and it's that. Let me just move that along. Absolutely perfect alignment. Look at that. Brilliant tool. And there you go guys, we've set up the camera and as you can see it's dead on super accurate. Really down to millimeters or even half a millimeter. Absolutely perfect, bob on as I'm checking it out. Yeah, it takes a few minutes to actually set everything up, however it just works. Now let's test out the fume extraction, how good that is. For that the best thing to do is to actually cut something out. So I'm going to whack some plywood inside and we're going to start cutting to see how good the fume extraction really is. I hope you can see the smoke being sucked in by the extraction fan. It really does do a very good job. Okay, so I've switched off the fan itself at the back, so more or less you can hear what I say. And that's the only downside of this setup. The fan is quite loud. There's no way getting around that. If you want to use an extraction, it will be sort of loudish, so you need to be prepared for that. But as you can see, there is no smoke whatsoever. I can hardly smell the scent of burned plywood, which is absolutely fantastic. This is what you want. And as you would expect from this cutting head, beautifully cut out Easter bunny, as you know what's around the corner. Right, I want to test one more feature of this enclosure, mainly the safety feature. So we'll turn on the machine and I'm going to lift the hood up to see if the laser will stop, and then when I close it down, if it will resume automatically. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to lift the hood up to see if the machine will actually stop engraving. Well, the module has stopped. Let's see if it's going to resume. And it has. Absolutely brilliant safety feature there. Well, I have to say, guys, I am seriously impressed with this enclosure. It's not just a normal box, okay? It's got some really cool features. Starting with the LED strips, okay, it's a cheap one to add on. However, it makes the difference. You can actually see what's happening inside. Plus the camera on top works fabulously in Lightburn. It shows you exactly where you're going to be placing your graphics, your vector graphics, anything like that. Obviously, yeah, you need to set it up, but it just works. And on top of it, the whole enclosure is see-through, so you can see exactly what's happening from every single possible angle, okay? And the material it's made of will protect your eyes from the harmful ray of the laser itself. And on top of it, you've got fume extraction, okay? So you're gonna keep your lungs and your environment that you work in nice and clean from any potential and harmful fumes, which is super important, especially when you're working with open frame lasers. As we all know, you know, that could be quite problematic. Even if you do have a well ventilated room, it's still sometimes hard to get rid of those fumes. And with this setup, well, it's not a problem. Now, one thing I can see as a potential issue is because of the fumes are circulating inside of the box and eventually they will get sucked out. However, they will leave some sort of a residue on the inside of those panels. So from time to time, you will have to wipe that out. And that noise, as you hear, it's a protection noise. It's a safety noise to let you know that you're opening the enclosure. However, after some time, this is getting quite annoying. However, I think I can live with that. Overall, super impressed, and the quality as well. If you know Atomstack, the A24 Pro, you know that it's a quality machine from very good materials, solidly made. And the enclosure itself just follows that notion. It's really well made. The material is nice and thick. It's not flimsy. It's not flexing all over the place. It's really well made. So I could definitely recommend you this enclosure. However, you can actually buy the laser machine as a package with the enclosure itself. And I do recommend you do that if you are thinking of seriously using a machine of this type. So yeah, full recommendation from me on this enclosure. But bear in mind, if you want to buy it separately, it's actually not that cheap. But it's fully loaded with some really cool features. So it's up to you if you want to pick this up. For me, if I were to buy the Atomstack A24 Pro or the supported machines that you can actually put this enclosure on, I would definitely take this as well. If you want to check out the latest offers on this, I'm going to leave all the links to this enclosure and to the lasers from Atomstack down below in the description of this video. So if you're interested, go and have a look. However, don't go just yet, as I do have some really cool playlists here, including laser work, but obviously general DIY woodworking and really some cool projects. So check those videos out and maybe you'll find your next video to watch there. Take care.